How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Transport Fever 2. Welcome back to our little transportation company. There have been a couple of small changes since the last episode. First and foremost, I have expanded the train a little bit further so that it can carry more steel and more silver ore and more silver bars, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. Although, I think the train's starting to suffer a little bit. It's a little slower to get up to speed, so we might want to look at swapping out this locomotive, which, in fairness, we're going to be able to do that. That's why I've expanded it, because I can now make probably about $1 million every time I drop off the silver ore, which is absolutely fantastic. I've also doubled the number of vehicles bringing iron and coal down to this steel mill, so that hopefully we're going to have more steel going to the train, and then also up to here, so that we can provide more tools for San Francisco, which we are doing, by the way. It's going quite well. We actually have a little bit of a surplus going on, so I think what we can probably do is look at getting a few more vehicles on this line. Now, I don't know how expensive these guys are. Apparently, I can't afford 2 of them, though, so we'll get those on there and see how that ends up going. And I'm curious to see just how much we do actually get for 6 gondolas full of silver ore. And you know, 1.3 million is pretty solid. I'll take that. 1.3 million is a really nice amount of money right there. Now, is this guy gonna fill up any further with the silver? How are we looking here? We're on 11 of 24, 12 of 24. Loading speed is a little bit, it's reduced because of the train length. It exceeds the platform by 2 meters. Interesting. It is also loading up back here, though, which is good. So we are probably going to be moving more silver than we've ever moved before, which is pretty exciting. There it goes. Do we have any on the platform? We absolutely do. So we're going to have some left over for the next time the train comes through, which I'm completely fine with. I probably do want to look at having this thing wait here a little bit longer, because looking at it, we probably could have filled up that second gondola. So what we'll do is manage this line. It's going to be stop number 2. Let's have you wait here for, let's say, 2 minutes. We'll double the amount of time that it's going to be here. We've got 13 silver bars sitting on the platform, so that's pretty solid. We do also have machines getting into Salem on the regular now, which is absolutely fantastic. And looking at Salem itself, we're halfway on the machines. We're not doing so good on tools, and we're falling off a little bit on construction material. So I think what I'd like to do is have a little bit of a look at this tools situation, because at the moment, tools delivery, when there's 3 sitting here, I think we have 2 vehicles moving them back and forth. So what that says to me is that we probably want to take a look at all of the production out here. So if we go to this guy, we'll pin this, and we're going to look at these lines. So that's the coal one, that's the iron one. Let's have a look. So the rate is 18 and 19 on these guys. Steel to tools is 10. That's fine. Basically, the steel to tools rate, I can keep the game running while I do this, needs to be half of whatever these guys are. And these guys are making some pretty good money. So I think what I'm going to do, first off, is I'm going to manage these vehicles. I'm going to replace them. We have got some choices here. We've got these guys. These guys are faster. These Benz tarpaulin trucks are 6 miles an hour faster than the Mack trucks, but the Mack trucks can carry a little bit more. So I don't know if that warrants a slower truck. I feel like it doesn't. I mean, this one can carry up to 9. This one can carry 7, but 6 miles an hour faster. I feel like that's a trade-off, right? Whatever. 600,000 to replace all these guys. We're going to do that. We're going to manage these vehicles, replace all of those for 600,000. And we have 3 vehicles in this line. We're going to manage those, replace them for 234,000. So now we're looking at 21, 22, and 12. So really that didn't do that much for the rates, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed in that, because we do need to bring those numbers up even further, which admittedly, now that the train is doing pretty well, if we have a look at our stats here and look at our balance, the train is doing nearly 1 million. The coal line here is doing 800,000. The iron line is doing 500,000. So we are making some pretty solid amounts of money, which is absolutely fantastic. Surprisingly, the Kansas alcohol to food to delivery line is not doing all that well. Not 100% sure why that is. It's genuinely a little bit surprising, but fair enough, I guess. I think realistically what I want to do is I would either like to double the numbers of vehicles on both of these lines, or I might have to do a train. But then doing a train, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that. Because here's the thing, the most I could realistically do is, well, we have this road. I can't really, there's not really anything I can do. I think I just need more vehicles. I think that's just the gist of it, is I just need more vehicles. So we kind of just need more money. Now I could take a loan to do that, or I could do the sensible thing and just wait for this guy to get back, pick up some silver, drop it off. But this guy's taking a lot of time to do that now. So I actually want to manage this vehicle real quick and take a quick look and see what's going on. So manage you, modify. So if I get rid of this locomotive, let me have a look at the locomotives actually. We don't have any diesel, we don't have any electric. We are currently using the 10-wheeler, which has reasonable enough power. I want to say it's actually, interestingly, the Atlanta, I mean, it's not as fast as this guy, but I think the wagons are limited to 50 miles an hour anyway. So this thing is mediocre at the moment. If I was to put this guy on there, it's 4.2 million, so I can't afford it. But if I was to put that guy on there, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Or I could just do another 10-wheeler. But I do think putting a more powerful locomotive on there, even if the top speed is slower, I feel like that might be the way to go. I feel like putting the Mikado on there is potentially going to be the way to go. So if I get rid of you and I put you on there, it's 3.1 million for me to get the Mikado. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. I kind of want it in bright red as well. If that's an option. I don't know if that is an option actually. Is it going to change? Oh, it's the roof that changes color. Okay. In which case, yeah, we'll just do bright red on the roof and see how that goes. I can't afford it. Again, 3.1 million. My only choices here are wait for this train to go back and forth a couple of times, or to take a bunch of money in loans, and I don't really want to do that either. Also, in total fairness, this train is approaching top speed here. I think I've just got a lot of uphill and downhill stuff for the train. I probably don't need to upgrade it. I mean, as I expand this and make it longer, I will, but I think we can get away with leaving it as is for now. And I think I'm going to move away from cargo for a second and have a look at public transport, because there's a lot of people driving back and forth here. And so I think what I'd like to do is I want to take out this road connection for a second. I'm going to take out this road connection as well. And I'm going to just sort of take this sort of right back a little bit to about there. And I think what I'd like to do is, I don't think we need the 4-lane country roads, but I think we'll go with the slightly larger ones here. And I think we'll sort of bring it across like this, and that'll be fine. So that gives us a nice straight connection there. We're going to bring this guy out a little bit to here, and I want to just curve it sort of nicely up like this. Something kind of like that, I think is probably pretty good. We're going to go in a nice straight line. Ooh, maybe not, because it's actually cutting away at the terrain. We'll go a nice straight line here that's not going to cut away at the terrain. And this is hopefully going to connect straight through here, which is exactly what I want. I want this road to go away. We're going to just continue sort of straight through like this. And I think we'll just sort of continue this way as well. I want to bring a road out of here. And this will work for one as a little ring road around Salem, which I think is probably pretty solid. So we'll go for here. We'll get a nice little curve going. I don't know why I do know why I've got the game paused. Never mind. Nice little curve there. Should be fine. So that'll get you around Salem, which is great. And then for these other roads, pretty much similar story. We're just going to bring them sort of straight out like this. It doesn't need to go that far. I just need I need it to snap like that. So we have a connection here. We can do the same thing right about here. That's relatively straight, so that'll do the job. So that gives us a couple of connections into Salem, which is great. This is a little bit tidier, which is also good. I don't know that we need 4 lanes here. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I do like the idea of having some why can I not upgrade this? There we go. Just some turning lanes is always nice for people on what's a, it's not really a major, you know what? We're just gonna downgrade that. It's unnecessary. We don't need it. What I would like to do, though, is get rid of this entire section because we can make that look a little bit neater as well. So if I come off of here, I'm kind of wondering, can I just do a straight shot over it? Yeah, that looks so much better. Even if it does cut away at the... Yeah, I'm going to do it. It's a bit smoother. It's going to be better for traffic. So we're going to give that a shot. So that's a better connection to Salem and High Point. The main reason I'm doing this, though, is, you probably guessed it, I want to get a public transport connection down to San Francisco. So let's do sort of a similar thing here. We're going to take out this entire stretch back to about there. Take this bit of road out. And I want to run this guy in a nice straight line over like this. I want to bring this guy out to about there. And we'll just have this connect really nicely. So that's pretty solid. This guy, similar story. We'll go straight across so we have a nice connection here. And for this whole thing, I think we can tidy this up quite nicely as well. I think we can take this right back. Something a bit like that. I think we can bring you sort of off of here. I think we can bring a road down a little something like this. Bring it back a little bit. And that should be a really nice curve, which it absolutely is. We will upgrade this section. And that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I do think this connection we can get rid of for now. We're not going to be moving tools to San Francisco just yet. So if anything, we could make this better. We could bring this just sort of right down, but I think that's okay for now. It's a neater looking road, so that's good. I will say, I don't necessarily plan on stopping in High Point at the moment. Although we reasonably could. We have probably got the tool production down here to stop in High Point and make that a thing. We could set up some tools production by Garland and move those to both San Francisco and to High Point as well. I do want to focus in public transport though. So I think what we'll do is we will go through High Point to San Francisco. It's not exactly what I want to do, but it's what we're gonna do. So we'll use a bus and tram station. I also kind of want to go around Salem. I think a loop going around here would be pretty good. So let's see. This is like our commercial center, I think. So if I was to put this stop sort of up here, I might regret doing this. This might not be the best place for it. I think maybe we want to go for slightly longer platforms. And I think, do we want more than one platform per side? I mean, Salem is kind of becoming the unofficial center of my entire business right now. So maybe I want to consider doing it this way. I also like the idea of moving this platform back a little bit so that we have a pedestrian connection on the other side. I think we'll do it. I think we'll do it for Salem anyway. So that's going to be our sort of central stop. We can have some public transport going around as well. So it come down. It can come down to here. It can go up to here. That's a truck unload stop. I'm an idiot. That's not what we're looking for. That's okay. Let's try that again. We're looking for bus stops. So here and here and then in here, we can go up this way and we can sort of come down this road into there and then straight back down. This one's probably a little close to the main station, to be quite honest, but we'll go for it anyway. In fact, I wonder if there would be better. In fact, I think there would be better. So we'll get rid of this stop and all should be good. So that'll be a little loop around Salem. As for High Points, we could reasonably cover the majority of the town with a single stop or two in the mill. We're also sitting on 3-point-something million right now. So what I'm actually going to do is I don't really want to spend $1 million moving and removing buildings, but at the same time, having the extra lanes there for through traffic would be nice. I don't know if I want to do that right now though. I think we can get away with it. I think what I'll do is I'll put one stop. I'm not going to do a loop around High Point. So I'm going to do one stop up here, one stop down here. So the buses coming in will go up here, stop, and then continue to San Francisco. And on the way back, they'll stop down here, which is totally fine. Then for San Francisco itself, do we have any nice little dead ends that would work great for my bus and tram station? We have these guys. We have this space down here. which I'm not entirely against using. We have this space in here. I think down here is probably going to be the way to go. So I think that's what we'll do is we'll rotate this guy around a little bit. And we'll just put it in here somewhere. So maybe sort of right here, maybe back from the road a little bit, just so there's a bit of space for the vehicles to get in. So something like this, I think, is solid. And then San Francisco itself is going to need a loop as well. So we'll go up here. We can go up here. We can maybe continue down here. Maybe a little bit close to each other, though. I think we'll give that a shot, though. So we'll come down. We can continue down to about here. And that covers more or less the entire thing. So that'll be fine. Let's go ahead and set up our line then. So from San Francisco, we want to go to High Points. We want to go to, where is the station? Right here. And then we want to go back, which is totally fine. And then it goes back to San Francisco. So this is going to be road passengers. This is going to be Salem / San Francisco via High Points is what we'll call that. We'll make this one, I don't know what color to make it, to be honest with you. Let's go for, it doesn't really matter. We'll go for like a blue. Go for like a darker sort of, this dark blue right there should be totally fine. So that'll let people get back and forth, which is great. Let's also do a new line from here that goes this way. I don't like that they cross over each other like that. I've gone in the wrong direction with the loops there, but I'm going to stick with it because I'm really not feeling like changing it up massively right now. So that'll loop around, and that's going to be road passengers, San Francisco, and we'll just call it loop for now. And San Francisco is what color? That light blue right here. So that's going to be our road passengers. And then over in Salem, it's going to be a similar story. We're going to start here. We are going to come straight down to here, up this way, and into here. And that doesn't kind of cross itself in there, which is beautiful. So again, road passengers, Salem and loop is what we're going for. It's going to be bright red. And once the game's done auto-saving, that'll hopefully all update, which will be beautiful news. There we go. Okay. So that'll be passengers around Salem, passengers around San Francisco, and passengers between the three towns, which is great news. In saying that, I don't necessarily know just how many people are going to be moving from one to the other, but we'll figure it out. So looking at passengers, we have the Mac, which I'm very much here for. We have 5.1 million as well. You know what? Let's get 5 of them. Let's paint them light blue, and let's send those around the San Francisco loop is what we're going to do right there. Then we'll go ahead and get another 5 of them, get them that nice dark blue color, and that's going to be the Salem to San Francisco line. And then we'll go over to Salem, we'll get some vehicles here and put them on the Salem loop as well. So buy some vehicles, we'll get the Mac. Again, we'll go for 5 of them. Then bright red, and that is going on the Salem loop right there. So hopefully we're going to see people wanting to go around there. Hopefully we're going to see some people moving around. Hopefully we're going to see maybe a little bit less traffic on this road. I'm not 100% sure. We do have people waiting in High Point, which is very exciting. That should also improve the connectivity in these towns though. So the destinations, what is this? Private transport there. This is public transport. Yeah, plus 20% from public transport. So we should see some growth coming out of all of the towns that we've just given public transport to. So that'll be beautiful. And then looking down here, how are we doing? We actually have a really good amount of steel waiting to go to that train. We have 15 waiting here. So what that says to me is that we might want to get one more vehicle on this line. I want to be very careful to not overload this one, but I also want to make sure that we're getting a bunch of steel to that train. This guy is full of iron, which is whatever, I suppose. Salem now demands food. Ooh. Oh no, that's interesting. Okay, well we do, and I was talking about it in one of the previous episodes, right? We were talking about bringing some grain down to here, and into Salem. So that's an option. We do have $5.6 million, so we could reasonably do that. San Francisco demands food as well. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to get some serious food production going on around here, which I'm totally fine with. What I would like to do first, though, is just expand this line a little bit further. So I want to manage these vehicles. I want to look at this guy, and I think we're gonna swap out the locomotive. It's not as fast at the top end, but I think that's okay. This guy is gonna have a sort of gray roof on it, which is fine. So that's 3.2 million right away. I think what we also want to do, I think the entire train, I'm gonna have to paint it. I don't like the mixed color thing that I've got going on. Just the silver with the gray and then the blue gray. It's just, I'm not a fan of it. So let's figure this out. Let's figure out what we want to do. We currently have 5 gondolas. We have 6 flat cars. Let me get rid of all of these. And let me do, I mean, we'll do the 5 gondolas. That's fine. We'll keep those. Maybe 6 of them. Then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flat cars. I don't have the money to modify this now, really. I guess I'm replacing parts of the train. Hold on. I don't want to get too carried away here. I do want the new locomotive. So we do want this guy. And then I guess in terms of cargo, instead of replacing everything, we just get a new gondola. We get a new flat car and maybe a new box car. And that's kind of how we do things. It's a little messy, but I think the more powerful train should mean that we at least get to that 50 mile an hour goal a little better. So 4.9 to modify, we'll just repaint the entire train. In fact, maybe the entire train can be sort of a more silvery color, I guess. And let's, wherever it is, have a little look at it. There it is. How are we looking so far? That's better. It definitely looks better. My only concern now is that it is too big for the stations, and that is going to be something that it complains about. It's going to load slower because now it's too big for the stations. We might need to be mindful of that. Also, does it have anything on board right now? It does. It has machines. Okay, so 12 machines on board, meaning those will be taken into Salem, which is absolutely fantastic. How much money for the machines? $265,000. Not bad. I'll allow it. That's pretty solid. Oh wow, this has wound up being so much busier than I thought it was going to be. We have a lot of people going back and forth from San Francisco to High Point and Salem, which is, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all, but we really are going to need to bring some food down this way. San Francisco, Salem, both of them want food. We do, at the very least, have this train on the way, so we should be about to see just how much money this thing makes now, which I'm excited about. I'm very keen to see how much money the train makes, because that's what's sort of funding my entire operation right now. It is a considerably more expensive locomotive. There are more wagons on there than we had before. So, I mean, we're going to deal with the penalty. 1.6 million though. That's not bad. Loading speed is 0.79 times what it should be. So the train is 43 meters longer than is ideal. But we'll manage, I'm sure. We should have some pretty decent production going on here as well. So we should see this thing fill up quite nicely, or at least, well, half of it fill up with the silver. So that should be all right. We'll see what kind of delivery it makes when it gets up to the machines factory as well. And that is actually up here and has a few machines waiting already. So not bad. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little reluctant to set up another train line that's bringing all of these resources down to make food, but at the same time, it feels like it makes sense. We have a lot of farms up here, for one. We have the means to make a lot of food right here, for two. We can also take some of that grain and make some plastics. So I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to I think we need to do that. We could also use the same train to potentially bring some construction materials up to Alexandria. That might not be a terrible idea. It might be a decent idea. In saying that, I think we need to figure out how this is all going to look. So I'm going to take this out to start with. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go to buildings. I want a cargo station. I need it to be a little bit longer than the previous ones. And I'm going to put it right in here. So I want it to be right across from this guy so that we don't ever need to mess around with We don't need to mess around with a longer platform. We don't need to mess around with trucks. None of that stuff. We just have it exactly where we want it to be. And then I guess for the roads, very, very simple. Just connect it up like this. That's going to cause some problems. That's going to cause some issues. Hold on a minute. Maybe we do the tracks before we get carried away here. So bring some tracks out here and then we'll look at the roads. In fact, let's do a nice straight section of road right here. Do a nice straight section of road. Something like right there. And can I get that to curve around nicely at all? Is that going to be a thing? Yeah, I hate that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of that. Can I maybe do something here that's going to look a little bit better? Bring these guys slightly closer together. I think that'll be fine. Just a really nice little corner right there. So that'll be all right. Okay, so that's going to be that stop. As for the rest of it, this farm can produce up to 300 grain. That's not necessarily going to be enough to supply both San Francisco. Well, supplying San Francisco from this guy is going to be a pain in general. I'm almost wondering if I want to do this with trains. I mean, a train to bring the food right down into Salem would be great. I'll give it that. But getting it down to San Francisco, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that yet. But I think what we'll do is we'll stick with this idea of using a train to get it right down into Salem. I think we'll just focus on Salem. I'm not necessarily wanting to make it like my main town. It's not going to be like the last few times I've played this game and just had like a main town the entire time. But we'll put a bit of focus in Salem and just see how things go. So 100,000 for this. It's a really, really hideous looking road. Can I improve that at all? Is that better? That's better. Yeah, that's definitely better. Can I do the same thing on this side? Make it look a little bit less terrible? So from here to there. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. So that is, we're going to need to go up this way and around, which is fine. And I do think we're going to need to have 2 of these farms feeding into this at some point. So I'm almost wondering if it'd be worth putting the train station in Alexandria and just using trucks to bring the grain to the train station. I don't think it's necessary immediately, but see, now the question becomes, do I just build a terminus cargo station right in here? Or do I build one in the middle here and just bring the trucks over immediately? Because eventually we're going to need more than just the 300 food, right? Because this thing is 2 grain, so we'll get 150 alcohol at most, which will be 300 food. And if we go and have a look at Kansas City, for example, it's demanding 63 and it's got half the population. So, I mean, maybe one farm could supply Salem and San Francisco as they level up, but not forever. I think for now we can get away with 1 farm. I think in future we're going to want to move this, but for now we'll stick with the 1. And I'm going to hope for the best on that. So build it right there. 240 meter platform. That's fine. Let's get ourselves some tracks in here. How am I going to connect this all together? Because this has to go. This is not going to be a fast line at all. Okay, so this is the absolute mess of a train station that I've built in Salem. I don't love it. I'm not going to lie. It's not perfect. It's not pretty. It did have to chop out a chunk of the road that I just recently built as well, which again, I don't love it and it's not pretty, but it does what I need it to do. And so I'm going to have to just sort of deal with it. It's also as relatively high speed as I could possibly get it to be. And in fairness, if I ever want to do passenger trains between Salem and Alexandria, this line is at least going to let me do that. So it's not the end of the world. It's just not, it's not great. I also don't love that there is this point at which the 2 train tracks cross over each other. That's a little bit concerning. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely a bit of a worry there. We might want to just look at again some signals here. These are also too expensive. Let me just, I've got no money. I've got no money. I'm not sure where all of my money is gone, but I'm assuming that my train is, well, there's a bunch of silver here waiting to be picked up. So the train is either already up. Where is my train? Where are you? Where are you right now? Oh, you're on your way back. Well, that checks out. That explains a lot of things. How are we doing in terms of money right now then? So balance. Oh, the train's way down there. Yeah, that thing is just eating away at my income. In saying that, we are balancing it out with a bunch of other things. So hopefully we're going to be all right. We have filled this thing. We've got 2 full gondolas of steel, I think, or flatbeds. Well, we've got 24. Yeah, 2 full flatbeds of steel is not bad at all. We'll have 1.6 million coming from that guy once it drops off the silver ore. So we can set up those signals. And I guess I'm also probably going to want to set up a little like way for the trains to sort of cross over onto different tracks here. Although I don't really need the trains to cross everywhere. I kind of just need it to go from here to here or to here. Either one would be fine. So once I have money, basically we'll set up that little crossover point. I can use the San Francisco train depot to get some trains onto that track, and we can hopefully go from there. So I guess let's figure out this new line. We're going to start here in Alexandria. We're going to come down to Everett. We are going to go down to here, High Point East, and into Salem. And we're not really taking anything back. We could take bricks eventually. We absolutely could take bricks eventually, but we're not going to be doing that. And I actually want to just see, let's make sure we are, I guess full load there in Alexandria. We probably won't need to wait for very long. And then Everett is turning that into alcohol. So let's say minimum wait time is going to be, let's say 2 minutes, just to be sure that we're getting this thing kind of full load full load of available. Minimum wait 2 minutes should be fine. Then this is, so it's 2 grain. So we should be loading up in a decent amount there. This is alcohol into food. So this is going to be, I guess, another minimum wait time. This time around, we'll say another 2 minutes. And then Salem is just going to be unloading food is what we want to be doing there. So unload food right there. This one is going to be, let's see, unloading alcohol and loading up on food. This one is going to be unloading grain and loading up on alcohol. And then this one is just going to be loading up on grain. So that should be fine. That's everything set up right there. This is train cargo. And I don't know how we, I don't know how we necessarily name this. How do we do the other one? High Point Machines Production. I guess this one is technically going to be, I guess technically it's, well, it's actually, it's what, Salem, I guess. Salem, we'll say food production for the time being. And we'll make it bright red since that's the color we've gone for with Salem. And I guess that'll work. I just don't know what kind of train I'm going to need. And in terms of trains, I mean, we're going to need a lot of money because we need a pretty decent train for this. So, I didn't really think this through. Well, I sort of did. I did think it through. I'm I'm operating like I've got more money than I do is what I'm doing. And that's a life problem, really. You know, there's a small part of me that was thinking, oh, we could use that electric locomotive that we got recently, but it is $12 million up front. So no, we couldn't. The Mikado is still 4.2 million up front. The Atlantic is 2.5. Oh, I think we're going to go with the Atlantic is what we're going to do. And we're going to paint it bright red because of course we are. And then in terms of cargo, we're going to be moving grain, which goes in a gondola. And then we're going to be moving alcohol and we're going to be moving food. Now the problem with this is that it's 2 to 1, or no, it's 1 to 1 in the full scheme of things. So you go from 2 grain to 1 alcohol to 2 food. So really it's 1 grain to 1 food in the long run. So we're going to need as much space in boxcars as we have in the gondolas. So if I can do, realistically, if I do 1 of each to start with, that's fine, I guess. It's 3.7 million. It's ridiculous, but realistically speaking, that will do the job. That will get me the things that I want to get. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think it's a very expensive train. It's not going to make that much money, but I think that's That's what we're going to have to do. So we need another $1 million. So we're going to go and borrow. We're going to borrow up to 25 million in total. So that gives me 4.3 million. We'll go back in here. We'll set up the train. We can buy the train and then just throw it onto the food production line and hope for the best. And it looks like it can get out there, which is great. It is a very, very short train. It is not going to be making that much money. And I realize it is also going to need some signals to help it get around here. So we'll put a signal right there, which at least means it can leave the shed. And then for the other train, it is here. So yeah, it is going to be in the way. That other train's not going to be going anywhere until this one clears by, which is totally fine. Honestly, not the end of the world. How much money for what we've got here? 265,000. I'll take it. So this guy will keep on keeping on, which is great. Okay, so with a little bit more money spent, we've managed to get a few more cars on the new train. So with 36 grain coming in here, I'm curious to see how much money we're looking at. 400,000. Honestly, not bad. I'll absolutely take that. We also just got our first plane. That's kind of exciting. Why are you not producing anything right now? It's cranking up the production, which I guess is great. Are you loading up with anything? No. It is putting it. Wait a minute. Why are you not loading up an alcohol? What have I done here? Manage. I want to look at the line. So manage line. So you're in Everett. You're supposed to be loading up an alcohol. And then you're going to be unloading the grain. Then at High Point here, you're unloading alcohol, loading up. Why are you not loading anything at all? What can you carry right now? You can carry the alcohol. You just don't seem to want to. And I'm not sure why. That's really weird. You absolutely can't. What am I doing? I'm doing something. I'm clearly doing something wrong here. So this guy's going to make no money going through there. And that's really annoying. I've got to have done something wrong. Let me have a look at this line again. No, I'm not seeing anything. I've got no idea why this guy is being a bit weird. In other news, moving away from trains again for a second, there are so many people that want to get a bus down to High Point in San Francisco. We might actually need to get more buses, basically, is what we're looking at here. I'm really annoyed about this. I'm legitimately really annoyed about this. I'm not sure what's going on with it. I mean, at the very least, the good news here is that the other train is doing just fine. There's really not as much steel coming through here as I would have liked, but for the most part, the train is doing fine. It's moving things back and forth. It's lifting a decent amount of silver here and there. So if we keep that up, we'll still have our millions coming in from silver and machine production and all that good stuff. We actually have a really good amount of machines sitting around here. So if anything, we can go to manage vehicles. We could clone this one guy and get a second vehicle moving the machines, so that at the very least, Salem is doing all right. And Salem really is doing all right. I mean, what is this? Quality of stations could be better. That's fair enough. That's probably because so many people are waiting to get out of there, but it's doing all right. It's doing just fine. So let's have a look at this guy this time. It's pulling into the station. It's another 400,000, and it is now loading up on the alcohol, and it's continuing to do so, which is absolutely fantastic. So this thing should manage to make money the entire way down the line now, which is absolutely perfect. That's what we're looking for. It is not loading any further than there though, and it is now just throwing it onto the platform. So still not 100% sure why it's not loading beyond the two wagons. Again, there's maybe something I'm just glossing over that I'm completely oblivious to, but at the very least, yeah, it's 100% on this. It is unload there. Everything else is just, I don't know. I just don't know. But at the very least, it's hopefully going to make a little bit of money. Now, something I am considering is, and this might be completely pointless. This might be really stupid, but I'm considering it anyway. I also want to see how much we get for the little bit of alcohol that comes down here. So we're going to be looking at 281,000. That's not bad. Are we loading with food? I don't think we are. No, we're not. It's going to the platform again. I don't understand that. I I don't understand why it's not going on the train. It's very, very strange. Very, very, very strange that it's not getting loaded on the train. I wonder if it's a demand thing. I wonder if it's because, like, where is the demand for food down here? It's right in the middle, so it couldn't be a demand. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. It's really, really odd the way that's behaving. It's really, really strange. Anyway, what I'm thinking is that I could bring some iron ore over to this station, and I could bring some coal over to this station, drop both of them off, and then run the train from here to here with a little bit of iron and coal, make a bit of steel, and then I don't know where the steel goes from there. I didn't really think much further ahead than that, but I just thought, you know, I could reasonably set up a little bit of a way for that line to make some money on the way back, because it doesn't right now. I just don't know what I'd use the steel for. I guess I could make goods if I get some plastic, but I don't think there's anywhere down here to make plastic, so I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. We could bring it out here as well. Wait, no, that's, no, never mind. That's, no. I need to just make the steel. Again, I don't know what we'd use the steel for. There's not really anything nearby other than the goods, and we don't have means to make plastic down here. We could, however, we could send some grain up to Huntsville to make plastic and then bring it back. But again, there's not really anywhere nearby that needs goods either, so that might be completely unnecessary. I'll tell you what we'll do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something that we should have done a while ago. We're going to manage the vehicles in this line. I'm going to double the number of buses. Wow, they are remarkably cheap. Let me do that again. Wait, no, yeah, you know what? 20 of them's fine. When I said double again, my brain, what I really meant in my brain was put 5 more on the line, not 10 more, but you know what? What's done is done. We've got 20 buses going back and forth from Salem to San Francisco via High Point. There's a lot of people waiting to go back and forth, so hopefully that's going to do good. I don't know if those lines are actually making money. They are, actually. 63,000 is not terrible. This machine's production line is dreadful. It loses 1.65 million on the way back. I don't like that. I really don't like that. We need to figure this thing out. I'm also kind of thinking that we should probably configure this platform a little bit and just extend it so that the train actually kind of fits. So we can go back like this. That's about as far as we can reasonably go. But the train should now fit there. Or at least it would if, yeah, it will next time. So that seems fine. We've also got a different type of platform, which I don't love. I like the cobble one. I do like the old cobblestone looking one, but whatever. That is the right platform that I just put on there, right? That was cargo platform. Yeah. All right. So that's all right. The train will do what the train's got to do next time around. It has not loaded as much as I would have liked. Decent amount of steel on board though. I might need to manage this again and have a little bit of a look at how this works. So the High Point stop, I wonder if I tell it 100%, because in Garland, it's loading half of the available space with, yeah, that's what we want to do. So load half of the available space with steel and then load the remaining space with silver. That's kind of the way we want to do that. So that'll be fine. This is the only station I'm really worried about load speeds as well. So I think we're going to be all right. And then looking at this guy, we've got 21, 22. Is it going to go above 24 this time? So 24 and then onto the platform. I don't understand. I really don't get it. I just don't. And that makes me wonder if it's going to pick up the food here, because if it doesn't, we have a real problem. Although I could expand that train if I wanted to. I don't feel like it's worth it. If anything, I think we're getting to the point where I'm going to have to get a second train going in this machines line. Although we don't have enough steel down here necessarily. Well, we've got 17 right now. That's not bad. I think there's 2 things we got to do. We're sitting on 3 million right now. Let me pause and let me go to some of my older lines, because the Kansas City, the grained alcohol thing, it's still using some old trucks. More importantly than that, The Salem Bricks delivery line is still using the older trucks. So manage those vehicles. There's 16 of them. And I want to swap those guys out for this guy. So this can move. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. We need to be moving stone, which this can't do. So we're going to use the tarpaulin trucks. 1.3 million to do that. That is now 118 on the rate, which is fantastic. Salem one's 131. So arguably, I could put a couple more trucks in that line, which I'm very much here to do. So let's do 4 more vehicles. Let's have a look at the line. We're up to 148, which is great. Let me also configure this, because what I'm thinking I'm going to do is expand this platform just a little bit. And I'm going to put another couple of platforms here. Not that I think we need to, but what I can do at the very least is manage this and say at Salem South, go to either platform. So if one's occupied, you can go to the other and pick up your stone. And that should be fine. That'll hopefully keep us going pretty well. This guy, the production here could be better. It is still a 1-to-1 though, but I almost wonder if it would be worth going ahead and just really cranking that up a little bit. Maybe bring this rate up to 200 and just kind of see what happens. So let's get another couple of vehicles on there. That brings us to 188. And if I do one more to bring us to 25 vehicles total, 196. I'm going to see what happens. 196 on the rate. That is more than Salem needs, which is totally fine. In terms of tools, we are actually lacking a little bit, but we have got a good amount of tools here. So we'll pin this. We'll have a look at this guy. We will manage the vehicles. We'll throw one more on there, which brings us to 40 on the rate, which seems fair enough. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not going to overdo it on that line. I don't think we can necessarily afford to overdo anything right now, but we'll see how that goes. And then for everything over here, I think realistically what I'd like to do, so this thing can produce 600 iron ore per year. This can produce 600 coal per year. If we can start moving 600 of each of those per year, we will be producing 300 steel every year, which means we will then be producing 600 tools per year if we sort of max everything out in terms of rates and all that stuff. But it also means we could be producing 600 bricks per year. So I almost feel like coming over here and putting a bit of focus on getting these guys up and going and making them super profitable might be a really good move. And sort of a similar thing down here, realistically. If we start moving all this around, we can start producing 300 steel, which can then again turn into, well, in this case, it won't be 600. It would be about 300 tools, which again, is more than San Francisco needs. And then 300 per year going to this guy, which is half the production of the silver. But honestly, I'm kind of here for it. I think that might be a decent idea. Also, has Salem had any food yet? It has. Lovely. Okay. We're looking at 490 as the projected growth for Salem. That's not bad. San Francisco is doing okay as well. We just got a new bus too, which is great news. We get all these buses coming in here as well, which is a lot. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I don't want to configure this. That was the wrong button. I want to go to manage line, and I want to say in Upper San Francisco, you are going to go to platforms 1, 2, and 3, which is totally fine. And then the San Francisco loop is going to be Upper San Francisco on platform 4 exclusively, because I don't think you need to be going to the other ones. So just platform 4 for the loop, and then the other one can use all of them. And then I think a similar story back in Salem. I don't know why I keep pausing the game to do that. So looking at the Salem loop, it is going to be Salem branch platform 4. And then looking at this guy, manage the line, Salem branch platform 1, but also 2 and 3. So we can have multiple buses come in here and pick people up. Although in saying that, it looks like most of the buses have picked people up in Salem, so we're doing all right there. We're getting people around, which is exactly what we want to do. We have so many buses. There's basically no one waiting here anymore, which is great news. I am thinking we can probably get rid of the maybe 5 of the 20 buses, but we'll leave it be for now and just see what happens. You know, just talking about the whole idea of maxing out the rates for both of these mines has given me an idea And I don't know if it would work, but I might set it as a relatively short-term goal. I don't think I want it to be a long-term goal because I don't want to spend forever doing it. It's not going to be a today thing either, but I almost wonder if it would be possible to build a train that can carry 600 iron ore, 600 coal. You would need so many gondolas for that, but then 300 steel as well. So it would have capacity for 1,500 units of anything. But in theory, if you did that, you could set it up so that train essentially only runs once per year because it would wait indefinitely for the steel to fill up. That might be kind of interesting. I'd be curious to see if that can be done, because if it could, it'd be really, again, interesting. I hate to just, it's a bit of a buzzword, but it would be. I think it'd be really interesting. It'd be a huge train. I don't know if we could do it in 1921, but I kind of want to try. I'm not going to lie. I do. We have this steel mill down here. We have an iron ore mine. We have a coal mine. Those feel like they're too close together. It's too close to that steel mill to really be worth doing. But what if we have so much space over here that I haven't even looked at yet. What if we went to in here, for example? What if we said in Miami, for example, we are going to gather a whole bunch of, coal and a whole bunch of iron. We're going to dump it into a single train station, which again, I don't know if it would have the capacity for it, but we could certainly try. Dump it all into a single train station. Again, it makes no sense. There's a steel mill right there. But then bring it from Miami down to literally any of the steel mills. We could bring it down to Thousand Oaks steel mill if we really wanted to. We could pick up the steel and bring that to anywhere. We could bring it down to here, make machines. We could use, we could get some planks from somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth doing, but I really like that idea. I do really, really like that idea. It might be dumb enough to work. It might bankrupt me. I mean, it's not like we're rolling in cash right now either. It really genuinely might bankrupt me, but I think I'd be willing to give it a shot. I do. I genuinely do think I'd be willing to give it a bit of a shot and see what happens at some point. I think for right now, though, my more short-term goal, for one, is going to be to manage these vehicles. I want to get one more in here, and I want to replace all of these guys because we're using the Mack trucks here. I think what we're going to do is swap these guys out. They're moving tools, so we'll go for the Benz tarpaulin truck just so they're a little bit faster. We'll go up to 8 of them in total just to make sure those tools are really moving into San Francisco. And I mean, I don't necessarily want to throw more vehicles at all of this just yet. I think this is doing just fine, although San Francisco could reasonably use more tools. We're going to hold off on that for the time being. I think what I'd like to do really is I want to come down here and I want to double the amount of trucks. I want to double the rate for steel production because I do want the tools going into Salem to be better. And I think that's probably where we're going to leave things for today. So double those 8 vehicles, bring that up to 16 for the coal. And then for the iron, we're going to go ahead and pin iron and pin coal as well. So 65 is the rate there. Manage these vehicles. Double those. That gives us 65 and 67. That's totally fine. So that means that the rate on steel tools needs to be, let's say 30 for the sweet spot there. So we'll get 2 more of these guys. That brings us to exactly 30. That's perfect. And that should mean that we have 60 tools being made per year. So this guy is currently at 40. We'll go and manage the vehicles. We'll put 1 more in there. That brings us to 54. I'm kind of okay with that. We'll leave it at that. It'll give us a bit of excess, but that's okay. So that should be a bit more money coming out of those guys, which is exactly what we're looking for. And I'm very much okay with that. We do have a lot of, oh, that's the new vehicles. Never mind. I was going to say we have a lot of vehicles just kind of chilling here, but yeah, they're all heading out to do their business, which is great. How are we doing in terms of construction materials? 135. Not bad. Not bad at all. Tools will gradually increase. Machines is getting up there. Food is actually getting up there as well, which is brilliant news. And the quality of the stations has improved now that not everybody's waiting forever. The emissions are still not great. Honestly, not bad. Salem is doing really, really nicely. It's 1921. We got some high rises coming in, some apartment buildings. I'm kind of pleased with that. And then looking at San Francisco, kind of a similar story. It is a little slower off the mark. It doesn't have food. It doesn't have machines, but it's getting there. We'll have more tools coming in soon enough. So absolutely no complaints from me right now. Although I think what I will do, just as one last little thing here, is I'm going to go ahead and expand this train. It's being weird. I really don't know what's going on with the wagons and just the fact that it doesn't fill properly, but we'll go ahead and expand it anyway. So we'll say, give me, I don't know, 2 more boxcars, 2 more gondolas, and we'll move the boxcars to the, I don't know why I'm moving them this way. It'd be really nice if there was like better controls for doing this. I don't love the process of moving the wagons around, but we'll go for something like this. We'll just expand it really nicely, paint the entire thing bright red, and now it has higher capacity. Hopefully that's going to be a good bit more money. And I mean, if we look at our lines overall and sort by balance, it is still losing money, which is very depressing, but that's fine. It's okay. I think on average, we're making money. So I think we'll leave it there for today. I'm waffling on. I'm going a bit too long on this one. I'm trying to keep these episodes a bit shorter, and here we are doing, I don't know how long it's going to be, maybe like an hour at this point. It could be longer. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.